Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Tuesday, May the 23rd, 2023. Tuesday, May the 23rd. Well, we have a funny, interesting thing going on here. We've got, and I think I clicked on the wrong. Well, we've got Elena. Elena is telling Devon what happened. Because Devon and Abby noticed all these boxes outside the door of Nate's penthouse, because it's Nate's now, right? Well, Nate did buy it. And he asked her, are you and Nate moving and didn't give me the courtesy of letting me know? Because you know Devon owns the building, right? Although Nate bought that penthouse, so I don't have to tell the building owner if I'm moving. I could be written out my spot. Okay. I don't have to give you notice. I can have a realtor up in there selling it and you don't even know. Actually, that is how it's been sold. Back and forth, back and forth. Didn't have to go through Devon. Chelsea sold it to Nate. Didn't go through Devon. But anyway, Elena is taking no qualms of anybody that'll ask. Oh yeah, Nate and I aren't together. He's sleeping with Victoria. Devon is like, I didn't see that coming. That was funny. You know, in his mind, after everything he did to come between you and I, he's already moved on, right? Hey, cheaters. Cheaters are gonna cheat. Cheaters are gonna cheat. Elena cheated. Who cheated on Devon with Nate, cheated on Nate with Devon. So cheaters are gonna cheat. Period. Devon cheated a couple times. Cheated on Amanda with Hillary. I'm sorry. Cheated on Amanda with Elena, and then cheated on Amanda with Abby. So yeah, cheaters gonna cheat. So he was just telling her, I'm sorry to hear that. You deserve better, blah, 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 blah. And she says, no. She says, Nate's all about ambition, money, and whatever is going to get him to the highest position is where he's going to go, period. Right? So if they have their little conversation, and then Devon's at the park before he goes to work, and Nate walks up. He thanks him for inviting him to Neil's memorial service. And Devon said, yeah, I just found out a few minutes ago that Elena moved out. Saw the boxes. So you sleeping with Victoria, huh? And Nate looked at him and was like, not that it's any of your business, right? At all. And he goes, well, you know what? You think he would have treated her better than this. And then Nate looked at him and said, now you are talking from your own glass house, because I do recall you slept with Abby on Amanda. So my business is my business. And Devon said, yeah, you know what? You're right. I've made mistakes. He said, but you sure have made mountains of them. You know, he says, you have no loyalty. You screw your family over in business, trying to sell us out. And now this. And he goes, I just don't, Devon said something about, I don't even know you. And Nate looked at him, he goes, you know what, everything's always been about you, Devon. Your business, your inheritance, your this, your father, your family. And I was thinking, as Nate's saying that, if it's one thing you don't know about Devon, is you don't know he's a billionaire. He does not lead the lifestyle of one. He's not flashy like one. The only time he was is when he was spinning out after Neil died, right? He's not flashy. He doesn't talk about it, nor does he act like it. but that Nate would. Nate would be flashy, from big cars to entourage to $1,000 suits, to check out my $1,500, actually $10,000 suits, $1,500 shoes, and look at this watch. And Nate would be blinging it because that's Nate. He would think it made him more important, his things. But Devon, he's not materialistic, never has been. So anyway, Nate goes, you know what? I was just an afterthought cousin. But come to think of it, you don't know me. You don't know me at all. And he walked away from Devon. And Devon's like, good riddance, right? So we have Tucker and Audra bump into each other at the park. And Audra it's just interesting about her. She's so condescending. And she had the nerve to try to talk down to Tucker. Once she found out, he kind of slapped her in the face. He goes, oh, you have nothing. You're washed up. You lost your business. You don't have this. You don't have that. And where's the woman you tried so hard to get? I don't see Ashley anywhere around. And Tucker said, you are so behind the times. He says, I live in the Abbott house with Ashley. And Audra tries to have this poker face. He goes, yeah, you didn't know that, did you? And so she said something else. And, Tucker looked at her and he goes, you better watch remember who you're talking to. Remember it. And she says, well, look, perhaps I overstepped. No harm done. Right? And he says, no harm done. But you know what, Audra? He said, you better be careful with your little plan. You think that Nate Hastings is going to be so loyal to you. You just might be in for a rude awakening. And she's just looking at him like, I got everything under control and I'm going to get what. And he just looked at her. He goes, so I guess this is farewell. And he kissed her on her cheek. And he walked away from her and she's standing there like. So then Venomous Audra goes to Crimson Lights and she's talking to Elena saying, ooh, are you savoring revenge? What are you going to do? And Elena goes, I don't know. She goes, ooh, you're gonna tell Victoria off? You're gonna do this? She goes, I don't want to do nothing in a public place and blah, blah, blah. So Audra goes, she's at the office. It's not public. Bet you could go talk to her now. Because she goes, what did Victoria do when you told her off? And she goes, I haven't talked to Victoria. You haven't? And so pretty much Audra kind of goaded her into it. And Elena's like, yeah, what the heck? Hey, what the heck? I'll go. But anyway, it starts off with Nate in the office with Victoria. And if I have to hear those two tell each other again and again how smart each other is. I love somebody with the initiative. You've done such a good job with this research. It's brilliant work. Well, I've learned from the best. You inspire me to just reach higher heights. And I'm thinking, this conversation sounds so superficial, fake, and phony. And they're both looking at each other, eating it up, right? So Nick comes in the door and he's kind of hears a little bit of it. And he's standing there with his arm. I'm getting so sick of Nick. He's at the door. He goes, I need to speak to Victoria. And Victoria looks up. She looks at him. She looks back at Nate. And Nate says, what did he say? Something about we'll get back to each other. I'll get back to you, with the research or whatever he said, right? And he walks by and Nick says, of course. you two again? Of course. She goes, what you mean you two again? Why is he's always in your office? He's a direct report to me. What do you mean he's always in my office? She could have said, same for you. You always in my office. You act like you don't have an office. Same for mom, Nikki. Nikki's always in there. But see, now that Nate is always there, you notice they're making Nikki real scarce, right? You don't see Nikki that much. They all act like they don't have an office because they got to be in Victoria. Oh, but Victoria? Because Nick was a broken record for the 9th time, and she laid in on him for telling Victor that she and Nate were together. Oh, she laid the look on her face, and he goes, he's a, what do you say? He's gonna stab you in the back. He's trying to just undermine. And she goes, he is doing no such thing. He says, why is it he's working on every other project that has nothing to do with his division? I like it when a person takes initiative and learning everything about the company. He goes, he needs to focus on Newman Media. She says, Vic, he goes, Vic, he's an opportunist. And so she said something about, she brought up Sally. And she goes, oh, the difference is Sally wasn't after your job. And she looked at him. Nate is not after my job. He goes, no, but Nate's after mine. And Victoria looked at him and she goes, that's ridiculous, Nicholas. He goes, that's the kind of person Nate is. And Nicholas wasn't telling Victoria that as if he was insecure that Nate could get the job. Because see, quite frankly, that whole CEO, COO, CFO, any kind of CO belongs with somebody with the last name of Newman. You know, Newman. Victor. Nate's going to find out the hard way. See, because Neil was CEO until Victor's kids could grow up enough to boot him right out the way. His years of experience meant nothing. He was going to always answer to the boss and the boss's kids. But Nick was just saying that that's the type of person Nate is. And so she goes, you know what? No. The only person who has a problem around here is you. You worried about your job, Nicholas? Then do your job. Ooh. Hey. He goes, I do my job. And I'm here to run, because he came in to talk to her numbers on some project. I'm here to talk to you about the blah, blah, blah project. But all I see is Nate every time I turn around. Oh, goodness. So she just let him know, you stop all this or we gonna have a problem. Because see, truth be told, Victoria is the boss of Nicholas. Victoria can fire Nicholas. Yes, she can. So Nicholas better be on his best behavior. So Nicholas leaves, pissed off, didn't talk no business to her at all. And Nate comes back. Oh, I see you're alone. Yes, I am. See, couldn't stay away for no time. And he goes, what's up with Nicholas? You know what's up with Nicholas, Nate. You know what's up with Nicholas. And so he goes, Nicholas feels like you're after his job and blah, blah, blah. And Nate says, well, I have to tell you. I mean, I do want bigger and better things. I want upward mobility. That's why I'm trying to prove myself. He's like, I wouldn't mind being COO. And Victoria just looks at him and I thought, see, that should have rang home. Oh, but you like that kind of ambition, right? You like that kind of ambition. And she just kind of looked at him. She didn't say too much either, but that came right, that stuck in the back of her head. Like, My brother did say that, and I told him he was ridiculous. No, Nate just told you out of his arrogant mouth. He told it to you, right? So they're talking, and then guess who walks in? Elena. And she said, she says, oh, of course. Look at here, the two of you together. And what a surprise, you have clothes on. Now, mind you, she didn't catch them out of their clothes, but you have clothes on. And so Nate says, Elena, what are you doing here? I have something to say. And he goes, well, come here. Okay, Elena, let's go to my let's go to my office so we can talk in private. She said, and Victoria says, why don't you let Elena say what she has to say? And Elena looked at Victoria. She goes, my, you two are so in sync with one another. And she says, what I came here to say is I'm quitting the podcast. I will no longer be working here. She said, so there will be no problem releasing me from my contract. Oh, and by the way, that whole non-compete clause, there won't be a problem with that either. And they just looked. And so she said, because I'm going to be devoting most of my time with medicine. And then she goes into, the actual profession that saves people. And she just goes on to kind of like cut him down. And Victoria's just standing back there. And so Nate goes, Elena. And she goes, I'm not finished, Nate. I'm not finished at all. And oh, she just lays into him like she did before, and she just, you two deserve each other, right? And she took her purse and walked on out of there. And Nate's just standing there. Scorned woman. Victoria's just standing there because she told him, she says, the employees know what you two are doing. Oh, and your brother doesn't agree with what you two are doing. It's pathetic. You are the CEO of a major conglomerate, and this is what you do with your employees. She said, she goes, it's disgusting or pathetic or something like that. Like, oh, it don't even look good. And they're just talking about you two, which is something Nick was saying to her. Vic, you don't want that to get around. And that's what she said. You didn't care. Sally was your direct report. You didn't care. And he sure didn't. So those Newmans just don't care. They don't care at all. So neither one of them should bring that up to each other because, they throw it all out the window when they want to. All out the window. So now we have Nick is pissed off. He's at Crimson Light. He's pacing back and forth. Sharon comes out to talk to him. And he says, you know what? I truly don't want to get into it. I just don't. But, he goes, nah. He goes, I'll think about something else. And he sees that bottle of wine up on her shelf there. And he goes, are you going to start serving liquor here? He goes, because if you are, pour me a glass. I could use one. And she goes, no, this bottle was delivered to me and I don't know who it's from. You didn't give it to me. He goes, nope, not me. And she goes, it wasn't from Mariah or Tessa or Adam or Chance. Because he goes, maybe it was Chance. You guys are seeing a lot of each other. He goes, this isn't Chance's style. And then she told him what the note said, something about memories and blah, blah, blah. She goes, that's not Chance's style. And Nicholas says, no, that's not. And he goes, but Sharon, I don't know. There's something not right about this. He goes, what is this red on here? Is this blood? When she looked at it, she goes, no, it's probably a wine stain. He goes, no, this is not a wine stain. She goes, ooh, do you really think it's blood? He goes, I don't really think this is blood. He said, but it could be representing blood. He goes, Sharon, you know what? Because he goes, who delivered it? She goes, there was no delivery instructions. The delivery guy just came in and gave it to me with this card, but no label on where it came from, no nothing. He says, if I were you, I wouldn't drink it. Don't drink this, Sharon. It's just something creepy about it. And she goes, oh, but it's an expensive bottle. It could be pretty good. And he goes, no, I wouldn't risk it. So he says, well, I gotta go. So she's looking at the bottle, and now somebody's looking at her through the panes on the terrace. They're looking at her looking at the bottle. And she's thinking about what Nick said, I wouldn't trust it. Something doesn't feel right. So she took it and she just put it in the trash can behind the counter. She's thinking, yeah, you know what? I don't know where this, see, and my whole thing isn't me either. I don't know where this came from. That could be, how you could uncork champagne, put the cork back in, got some different champagne, I don't know. You never know with crazy folks. What could have happened? They could have had some kind of needle injecting it through the plastic all into the champagne. No, I ain't touching it, right? So we shall see. They are getting ready to bring up some kind of storyline for Sharon. Nick is he always comes to her rescue, but you know what? I think Chance will too. I think Chance is gonna really be focused on that too. So now we have Billy meeting Jack, and Jack can't even concentrate. So finally Billy says, you know what? I'm here talking to myself. And then he goes, Jack. And Jack goes, huh? He goes, I'm sorry. He goes, yeah, but you know what, Jack? That's all. Your mind is only on Diane, only. And he said, and I'm going to tell you. And he told about Ashley. He goes, I think Ashley's planning on making a coup. And he goes, no, the coup is my words. Ashley didn't say coup, but Ashley wants to convene the board. We know what that means, because Ashley feels like you cannot do your duties as CEO because you are completely focused on Diane, a woman who's charged with the murder of your ex-wife. You see how that looks? And Jack, he looked at Billy. He goes, I can see how. He goes, you know what? I hadn't thought about it like that. He goes, yeah, Jack, and you haven't been around. And even look, when you're here, and he goes, so are you on Ashley's side? He goes, no. He goes, I hope things go well with Diane and you. I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing. I'm picking up the seat. He goes, no, and you're doing a great job. You have really stepped in, Billy, and you've done a great job. He goes, Jack, look, over the years, you have been the one that has kept Jabot afloat. We are where we at in this company because of you. So, no, I'm not deserting you. I'm just bringing to your attention what's happening. He goes, and I was debating on doing it. He goes, so you mean to tell me you thought about not telling me and letting Ashley blindside me? And Billy said, no, I didn't want it to be a situation of you shooting the messenger. See, sometimes when you tell somebody something that they don't want to hear or they don't want to see, they want to shoot the messenger. So I just wanted to, I had to weigh how I was going to do this. And Jack said, no, but I appreciate you. And yes, I will be more present. We're almost at the brink of getting Diane free of these charges. Then I'll be able to devote my time to devote back to Jabot. No, you're going to get married. You're going to go on a honeymoon. That's what you're going to do. He goes, Ashley feels that Diane has you so, I want to say mesmerized. Ashley says brainwashed, but I forget what Billy used. That when you marry her, that Diane is going to convince you to give her a senior corporate family position at Jabot. And he goes, no, I wouldn't. And I'm thinking, yeah, you would in a heartbeat. Actually, I'd already told Kyle she deserved more. She wanted bigger positions, right? She goes, and Ashley feels that, the company could be in jeopardy with anyone outside of Jabot with positions like that. And I was going to say, no, Jack, you better think about it. Think about this. The whole reason that you and Ashley were at odds before, because Ashley was beating you to the curb when she was taking over as CEO. And then you threw out the clause that you had secretly written in there that the person had to be of Abbott blood to be able to be CEO, to take over Abbott, Jabot, because of what Phyllis did years ago. And Phyllis was able to almost take the company, right? So no, don't be looking the other way with Diane. Don't. But Jack is just stupid where Diane is concerned. So Jack comes in the house and he is yelling, Ashley, Ashley, yelling up the stairs. And I'm thinking, you better hope little Harrison isn't up there, because everybody's so worried about Harrison and what he hears. Tucker's sitting on the couch reading a book. And he's looking back like, what's he doing? All they yelling for? Jack sees Tucker. He comes around. Where's Ashley? And Tucker looks at Jack and he goes, I said, where is Ashley? He goes, well, first of all, if I knew where Ashley was, I certainly wouldn't tell you, like the way you are. And so Jack is like, I need to speak to her. And at this point, Tucker puts his book down and he stands up to Jack. And he's looking at Jack. I've got business with my sister. And Tucker said, you know what, Jack? You know how you told me that if I hurt Ashley, I would have to answer to you? And he looked at him dead in his face. He goes, same goes for you. If you hurt Ashley, you're going to have to answer to me. And Jack is like, almost like as if anybody that, and Tucker looked at him. He looked at Jack and he goes, and you know exactly what I'm capable of. And Jack kind of stood back. You know, I get take off that, because Tucker's like, oh, no. I ain't having none of this. Because see, now I got to defend her honor with you yelling at her like she's your servant that didn't iron your shirt, right? No, that ain't happening, Jackie. So anyway, we shall see. There's always going to be more conflict. I'm loving Tucker in the house because we get more activity going on in the house. And I like it. I really, really like it. Because Jack and Diane making everybody else uncomfortable except for Kyle shouldn't always be that way. Good. Now Tucker's in the house making everybody else uncomfortable except for Ashley. So anyway, all right, that's it. That was it today. I'll be back tomorrow for another daily recap of The Young and the Restless. Well, I forgot about comment corner. Let me come here and pick up these comments that were from our phenomenal daily recap fans. Sherry says, daily recap lady, I bet you remember Nick and Sharon jumping out of an airplane onto or into a cornfield. Whoever that guy was is the stalker. Let's see if you're going to be right, Sherry. And you know what? I don't remember that. That's so interesting. I don't remember that whole what caused them to have to do that. Roxy says, girl, you were spot on, especially about Chance. Finally, Chance is stepping up. Jack better back up off Tucker, though. That's right. Tucker put him in his place. And Victoria, all desperate. But baby Elena, yeah, Elena came in and said her piece. I like that. Belinda says, LOL, I agree with you about Victoria getting slapped in the face concerning Nate. And what would be even more funny if Victoria ends up pregnant with Nate's baby, because you know nobody on The Young and the Restless believes in birth control. That is so true. They do not. And then LaShanta says, that's why Michael told them he's trying to help Phyllis too. He knows about the chain of evidence. You know what, LaShanta, when I read this, I thought, you know what? I think she's right. Because there is no reason Michael Baldwin got that evidence and gave it to Jack. He was the district attorney. He knew better. And guess what? I think that could be it. His own little way. He wasn't sabotaging Diane at all, but he was helping Phyllis in some small sort of way. That could be the truth, and I'm hoping so. LaShanta always said, Vicky is so low down. She's in for a rude awakening. I'm glad he let Victor know. He means Nate. Oh, no. Adam let Victor know. Adam is in his element. Victor sees Nate, then Victoria. He's not dumb. Won't nobody listen to Nick. He's right. But you know what? Nick might be right. But if you're so right, Nick, start looking for things that Nate could be doing that would hurt the company. Stop standing on your high horse telling your grown sister to stop seeing him. Look how well that worked for you. They all said that about Sally. You dug in deeper, Nick. So, wrong course of action where Victoria is concerned. And then, let's see. Victoria downing her brother. I think Victoria was downing who? Nate and Nick. So I mean Adam and Nick. So let's see. Then it says, and Nate and Audra plotting up. Yes, they are. Those two little good all snakes. We got Victoria doing what she's doing, Nate doing what he's doing, Audra's doing what she's doing. Yes, right. Daniel telling everyone who will listen, CSI Jack and Kyle are mad. Kyle talking down to Chance. Yep. But now look who turned around and turned the tables on him. Wasn't it just Detective Chance? Michael's so smart. I believe he knew that it was a crime scene. Summer looked disgusted. I'm glad Chance said it could have been fabricated. And he looked right at Diane and Jack for setting up Stark. Chance knows Phyllis is alive, but he's not going to tell them. Yeah, he's not going to say he believes it. Did you see how Diane was needling Summer? Yes, I did. And Jack stood right there. And Kyle let it come over his head because mommy's talking. Mommy's talking, right? Mommy says no wrong, because Diane will look and say, oh, I'm sorry, you misunderstood. I misspoke. Her and Audra are famous for that misunderstanding. I misspoke. That's not what I meant, when that's exactly what they meant. Chance wants her to confess. Summer, yes. And then she called Phyllis. I know. Now, Phyllis called her on a burner phone dummy number. How is she able to call her back? I don't get that. But anyway, that's Comment Corner. And I wanted to make sure I got back here and put these Comment Corners with the daily recap for Tuesday, May the 23rd.